What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about Gears of War 5 and some potential spoilers that have slowly leaked across the internet. So, if you don't want to know anything about the upcoming Coalition masterpiece, Gears of War 5, which will definitely be prominently featured at this year's Microsoft E3 press conference, turn off this video now. Go enjoy your weekend. Thanks for stopping by. For everybody else, understand that there may be spoilers. There may not be spoilers. The joys of E3 is we just don't know what's real and what's fake until it's actually said on the stage live for everybody to see. With that, we're going to talk about some stuff that has been bubbling up over on ResetEra. I've seen it on NeoGAF. I've now seen it on Reddit, and even some professional major publications, GameStop, IGN, they're starting to talk about this news too. So, is it real? We don't know. Let's be hyped and let's just read it together. And I'll give you guys some thoughts on it because I'm kind of a big Gears fan and I love talking about video games, especially as we lead into E3. All right. So this came out, and this looks to be a document that includes some press details. It includes a basic 100-word executive summary, some potential feature bullets, any specific messaging or branding that needs to be said, the back of the box light, as in a very quick summary, and then a social hashtag. And I have seen this particular format used extensively over the years I've been a video game enthusiast as I uncover more and more leaks. And this kind of language is very indicative of something you would give to a executive who probably has no idea what the game is about. And this is kind of like a very quick summary of like, hey, here's everything you need to know in order to at least understand the game, number one, and then number two, potentially talk about it, or if you're interviewed or at these trade conferences, what could you say, what could you memorize? So the format checks out. The fact that it's green, blue, the words, the way it's laid out, that really doesn't matter. So this could be a forgery. This could be an exact carbon copy, a screenshot of something, or a snapshot. We don't really know, but it's got some interesting details specifically about Gears 5, and I want to talk about those. So the executive summary says the world is crumbling, humanity's reliance on technology has become their downfall, and enemies are uniting to wipe out all survivors. As Kate, you must journey across the biggest, most beautiful Gears world to uncover the origins of the Locust and fight with your squad to protect what's left. Never fight alone. Play solo or with a friend in local split-screen co-op or online co-op. Battle alongside your friends anywhere with cross-play between Xbox One and PC. Explore Sarah. Skim across glaciers, sail over deserts, and descend into sunken ruins to discover the largest and most diverse Gears world ever created. Visual showcase. Play every mode in 4K Ultra HD resolution with stunning HDR at a smooth 60 frames per second. Just the beginning. Additional features, co-op, and competitive modes still to be announced. So that's really a lot to take in. And it sounds like, well, geez, they're really just describing the next game. But, words have meaning, particularly when you're trying to get to this executive level summary. And it would make sense that they chose the words that they chose very, very carefully. So a couple things stand out to me. Number one, we do know that this is Kate's story. It's been very, very clear in all of the pre-teaser and pre-announcement information that we have seen that this game will focus largely on Kate. And if you guys remember from the end of Gears 4, and I assume if you're watching this video this far, you finished Gears 4, so yet another spoiler warning here. If you haven't finished Gears 4, stop and come back later. Okay. At the end of Gears 4, if you recall, when you find you see the necklace that Kate's wearing, and it's actually, she said it was given to her by her grandmother, which was the same necklace that was worn by Mira at the end of Gears of War 3. So what's going on, right? A very big swerve of a mystery is how is she involved in the Locust and everything. And clearly by saying that she's going to uncover the origins of the Locust, which we did primarily see a lot of in Gears 3, makes you wonder what else is out there to, be seen. They strongly emphasize that it's going to include split-screen co-op, not 4-player squad-based, but split-screen co-op, specifically stating that. That's a big deal, kind of back to the origins of Gears that always had that nice split-screen feature. I'm glad that they're not doing the kind of tried but true, 4-player co-op that you see in a lot of Ubisoft games. Halo tried to push it in Halo 5 Guardians. 4 just kind of seems to be a nice round number, so to speak, when it comes to these games. So it's nice to see that they're eliminating that, and it's going to be you and somebody else. It would indicate that you're going to have a lot more meaningful engagement with the player because it's not spread out across 4 people, but it's just you and potentially one other friend. Explore, Sarah. This is interesting that you're going to have glaciers, deserts, and sunken ruins to discover the largest and the most diverse Gears world. Now, I thought Gears of War 4, particularly on the Xbox One X with HDR, was some of the most showcase-like stunning example of what HDR graphics can be when done correctly. And that first couple levels where you're walking through and that storm comes through and you're running and the wind's blowing, power poles, and you're fighting your way through these torrential hurricane-like winds is nothing short of just an absolute technical marvel. So the fact that they say that it's going to include more diverse areas, glaciers and deserts and ruins, with a emphasis on the word explore, makes me almost feel like it's a God of War / RPG light type title. So the problem is, to me, Gears doesn't really lend itself very well to traversal unless you're going in one direction, being straight. Gears as a whole has always struggled with, and largely in part to how the cover-based system was deployed and executed, Gears has always struggled with moving side to side, and you'll see a lot if you still play competitively or just socially. You will see that computer players, especially with very high mouse sensitivity settings, absolutely dominate PC or Xbox players because they can whip that mouse around so fast, and because the turning radius, especially with 10,000, 20,000 DPI mouse, you are going to clear some major screen real estate in a very, very short amount of time. So Gears has always struggled with that, and it's because of the tight camera angle. They really wanted to emphasize the roadie run. They really wanted to emphasize the feel and the impact when you slam into cover, for example. They really tightened up the camera, but unfortunately, a lot of your side-to-side movement was really, really impaired. So if they are going to create some sort of exploration, then I'm curious as to how it's going to actually be executed. I like open world games. I don't think Gears of War would really lend itself to that because instantly your mind starts wandering with side quests and NPCs and optional dungeons or tombs like in Tomb Raider or in Uncharted, just stumbling across something that, is there if you want it, but not. I don't know how that would lend itself well to the Gears universe, and that's why I tend to think that if they are really sticking to this, and this is a true document, if this is in fact what is happening, I have to believe that the exploration part of it is going to be more on the lighter side, like a God of War, where there's some stuff to do, but not too much. We're not talking an Assassin's Creed level of exploration where you just go anywhere and do anything. If they were going that route, I would like to think that they're probably drastically changing the way the game feels. And from what I've seen, especially with some of the Gears 5 multiplayer, I don't believe that to be the case. So, interesting idea, though. Definitely makes your mind wander. And, Gears has always been a very linear, take this hallway, take this hill. You might get a small sandbox area when you're fighting against, like a Brumac or some of the larger enemies where you kind of have to navigate through. But ultimately, it funnels you back very, very quickly to an area. It would be nice if there was more of a forking path, not in the sense of the old Gears where it's like, do you want to go left with Dom or right with Karma? Not like that, but more in terms of just like, hey, here's a map. There's a lot of things to do, ultimately get there, but it's somewhat confined, but still open. So we'll have to wait and see. That bullet more than anything else excites me. The fact that it's going to be presented in 4K resolution with 60 frames a second on every mode is something that's very exciting. I have transitioned over the last year really exclusively to PC gaming for just about everything because this 2080 Ti is just a freaking monster and it looks amazing. And I notice a major difference when I'm playing a game on my computer versus on my Xbox One X because the frame rate is just so much better on computer. It only needs to be 60. It's significantly higher, but at 60, it's got a very smooth look to it. And while games have struggled to try to catch up to that, computers never have a problem. So if you're telling me that I can sit upstairs with an HDR monitor, something I do not have downstairs, my ultrawide is not HDR enabled, and get a nice frame, get that nice 60 frames per second in HDR in 4K upstairs with my big TV, my big surround sound system, and my super comfortable couch, man, you got me. I mean, that's very exciting. So the fact that they're not just putting that in multiplayer only, but they figured out a way as technology gets better, as coding standards get better, et cetera, to bring all that in is a very exciting promise and one I hope they can definitely deliver on. Lastly, just, the little teaser here of like, we have more to announce. You have to assume that Horde Mode is going to be making a return. Obviously, the great competitive modes that they already have, like King of the Hill and Domination. Makes you wonder also, are we going to get to see a Forge mode? That seems to be something that Halo 5 Guardians really embraced and really gave the game, which had really mixed reviews, longevity as fans created more and more content to do. So how cool would it be if we could actually get some of that in Gears? And it really kind of ties back into that open world aspect where if they are creating some sort of open world or open world light, as I call it, you have to wonder, they're going to probably be building some new assets and they're going to be building some new tools in order to populate and build up this world. And how cool would it be if they turned around and said, hey, here you guys go. I really see this as a great opportunity to shake up the formula even more than they've done so in Gears of War 4. And that is very exciting for me. So whether or not this is true or not remains to be seen, but I just wanted to give a deep dive, particularly on Gears 5, because Gears as a series is very near and dear to my heart. It's a game that I love and have spent a long time with. And we're only a couple of weeks away now from E3, so as this news comes out, again, you take it with a grain of salt, but it was interesting enough to cover. It was a game I was planning on talking about, and I figured, well, what better time than now? Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're here in the United States, enjoy your very long Memorial Day weekend. For everybody else abroad, I think you guys have a different name for it. I'm not really entirely sure what they call it over in UK, but leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about the Gears news. Let me know what you think about all this stuff. Do you believe any of this? Is this just gibberish? Do you think that somebody just made this up and floated it around? And, there's probably some partial truth in everything. So we'll just leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.